Hello, I am Amira Armond from Kieri Solutions, and I'm excited to present a new solution we have for CMMC Level 2 compliance called the Kieri Reference Architecture. The Kieri Reference Architecture is a do-it-yourself blueprint for creating a Microsoft 365 and Windows 10 or Windows 11 based environment. It's do it yourself. So that means that we give you full instructions on what to buy, exactly what licenses to purchase, hardware, software. We have step-by-step instructions for the configurations that you will perform to build out your tenant, set up your DNS so you have the correct domain name, configure all the scripts and security settings in Microsoft 365, as well as Intune for the security of your laptops. And it also includes documentation which shows exactly how you have performed all of these configurations, which are used to prove that you perform the technical controls of CMMC Level 2, like account lockouts, like FIPS, your disk encryption. Essentially, it's an all-in-one package that can not just help you create an environment that is able to pass the CMMC Level 2 assessment, but also it shows you how to maintain it over time so you keep that compliance. The reason why we have it is because our company, Kieri Solutions, we needed our own environment to pass a DIBCAC assessment so that we could become a C3PAO, an assessment organization for CMMC. And so more than 3 years ago, we started designing this network to be as simple and low cost to operate as possible, because we didn't have a ton of people. We don't have a lot of IT people, and we couldn't afford $1 million solution, right? And we also wanted functionality. So I didn't want to force my users to have, say, a virtual desktop and then struggle with whether their accessories could work, right? Whether they could use a headset with it, or have glitches if their internet's not stable. I wanted a real laptop that you can install real programs on and take with you to client sites or work from home or bring it to the office. And this network can do that. So it is Microsoft. We utilize Microsoft for as much as we can to try and keep the complexity down and to ensure that we are using a FedRAMP high environment for not just the CUI protection, but also for the security systems. We have a method for secure sharing between yourself and outside parties, which Kieri uses for every assessment that we do. It's not, it's not point and click. You do have to do security, you do have to issue accounts, but that's CMMC Level 2 compliance, right? If you're just throwing invites out to people randomly, you might not be being a good steward of CUI. So we have an entire process for how you can ensure that data is shared securely to the right people and keep control of who has access to that data. So our website, you can find out more at kieri.com/KRA. And you can see our main page, which describes the KRA. And you can request the data sheet, which I'll show you in just a second, which gives you a whole lot of information about exactly, what this environment supports, what it doesn't, areas where you will probably want to consult with an expert to expand it. For example, if you want to connect an on-premises network or a special application to this environment, you can, but you're going to need to work with an engineer who can help you do that, which is generally not us, but we can help you find a company that knows the KRA that can help you do it securely. So the data sheet, this right here is the core architecture. This is meant to be as self-contained as possible, but you can expand upon it, right? So it's kind of like creating a program that you know is good, right? It's a known good design that you know that it can pass the CMMC assessment if you do everything, right? Because this is DIY. Because we've passed an assessment using this exact thing. And then you can expand upon it. So if you want to connect it to other systems, you can. If you want to set up a virtual desktop, you can. But you have core functionality to start with. And then from there, it's optional to extend it. So we use Microsoft 365 GCC High. This performs almost all security functions for the environment, vulnerability scanning, patch management, monitoring, the directory, antivirus, and it also provides areas for us to securely store CUI. Our core design tries to keep CUI out of email. And so that's why you see no CUI in email. Companies can go very wrong when they put CUI in email. It is possible to add it. The KRA can be expanded to allow CUI in email, but we recommend against it. We would like you to instead use the secure sharing capabilities of SharePoint to move CUI from point to point. And this does not require the other side to install an application. They can get the files using a web browser, any web browser. So we haven't had any interoperability issues with this. You're going to have laptops. Your laptops can be either Windows 10 or Windows 11. At this point, most people are building Windows 11 because that is FIPS validated. And we have Duo Security as our preferred vendor for multi-factor on the laptop. There is also the possibility of using Windows Hello for multi-factor, but we're waiting on a couple functions, new capabilities that Microsoft is planning on releasing. We allow BYOD to access email, but note that we don't want CUI in email. So this is a very safe thing to do. You can allow your employees to have email and calendar on their personal cell phones, if you keep the CUI off the email. If you don't, but you set it up in a certain way, you can still have BYOD and it's safe. But that's a discussion. But this is a huge functionality thing that you just don't see in other environments that people build. It's wonderful to have email on your cell phone. And then we do have the capability of connecting your teams to a phone so that people can call in. And we've set that up in our environment. We passed an assessment with it, so it should be safe. So yeah, so this environment, you can take these laptops and you can move them anywhere because they have a very, very strong firewall around them. It's a software firewall, it's Windows Defender, but it's fully configured. It is turned on to the max. And this makes the laptop its own boundary. And that takes other things outside that laptop, such as your home Wi-Fi, your home network, even your corporate network, out of scope for CMMC Level 2, if you can keep the CUI on the laptop or in your Microsoft 365 E5. Now, if you buy a license to Kieri Reference Architecture, you will get access to this website to download the instructions and the scripts which are used to help you build it. You will get access to download the system security plan, which combines with the KCD, the Kieri compliance documentation, to create a 95% complete system security plan. So every technical configuration in the environment is fully described, as well as all the things you're doing to maintain the environment already in there. You just have to follow the instructions. We have a disaster recovery plan, which is not required by CMMC, but it's a real good idea. And that talks about how to perform backups and recoveries in this environment. We have an audit log procedure, which goes into full detail for every single task that requires monitoring or audit logging. And I haven't seen anything else out there that goes to this level of detail. You can literally copy and paste queries from this and demonstrate how you're doing each of the monitoring steps of CMMC Level 2. We include a PC setup checklist, which works with the automatic build that's part of the instructions, so that you can know that you have built a new computer to baseline and that is fully secure before you pass it off to a user. We have a cybersecurity maintenance checklist. This is some of this stuff. If you are a customer of the Kieri compliance documentation, you will have seen this already. But this maintenance checklist is our trigger for performing all of the required compliance tasks that occur on a timely basis, right? On a weekly, on a monthly, on a biannual or yearly basis. And this maintenance checklist is customized for the exact environment, for the exact KRA that you're going to be using. So the procedures are actually go to this menu, do this thing, click this button, right? Run this query. So again, it tells you exactly what you need to do to follow this process to hopefully be able to stay compliant. And then the administrative processes document is wonderful, right? It tells you how to run your IT department. And it includes the procedures for stuff like how you create a user account, how you remove a user account, how you assign permissions properly, right? And all of that background procedure of showing that you authorize the account, right? Creating the paperwork related to it, maintaining your inventories so that you have tons of proof for the assessor that you're doing all these things. In addition, Kieri Solutions wants you to pass your assessment, right? So we can't assess you ourselves. If you decide to go for the KRA, we're on your side. We're not on the assessor side, and that's fine. But we're going to do everything we can to make you successful. And what that means is we have a training library, which shows you how to set up key portions of the KRA. It describes how to do some of the specific maintenance, right? The harder stuff, the stuff that people need help with. We do monthly Q&As and newsletters to get new information out to people as time goes on. For example, maybe the location of a menu changes, which happens a lot with Microsoft. We'll get that information out to you. We're constantly updating these documents as well. And then with a license, you get 10 hours of support from one of our engineers who's actually built this thing before. So that 10 hours is included. It doesn't cost anymore. We want you to use it so that we can double check your work. You can get past any tricky spots. We also have a couple other options for support. So if one of our more popular packages is a you build it, but we help you build it package, which is the base license, which gives you all of these instructions, the training videos, the monthly support, as well as 40 hours of additional consulting from our engineer to sit with you and work through these instructions. And that engineer will also train you on the processes needed to maintain this, and also customize all of your documentation for the environment. So there's a little bit of work to do where you're going to take your policies and procedures from the Kieri compliance documentation and put together that system security plan, make sure all the names have changed, make sure that if your procedure is slightly different than what we describe, it's updated, and then walk with you through all of those key processes like change management, hardware inventory, record keeping, software record keeping, right? Updating your audit logs and alerts. So that build it yourself, but we help you package. That's really, really valuable because we're giving you a bunch of training. We're double checking all your work. We're even trying to do a little gap analysis at the very end to double check your settings to make sure everything's turned on. We also have the third option, which is we'll build it for you and we'll hand over the keys. Right, so we call it a turnkey option, and all of the software, all the licenses are in your name. You'd want to buy everything, right? So we're not like passing licenses from one owner to another. You're going to get everything, but you basically work with one of our engineers, give us an admin account. We build it all as fast as we can, and then we hand it over to you and do a functionality test to make sure that everything is working as expected, right? Which is very similar to a self-assessment. And we can also, again, help you with all those processes and documentation customization at the same time. So anyways, check it out. Kieri.com/KRA. And we'd be happy to send you the full data sheet, which gives you everything you need to know about what it can do, what it can't do, who it's best for, the support costs, right? Whether you're going to need lots of IT assistance or you can do this with 1.5 people like we did. And we'll be glad to give you a quote. Thank you.